Hi, I'm Michelle Karam with Dishes by Michelle in Los Angeles, California. When Christmas morning rolls around and all three of my kids jump into my bed and say, Mommy, we want to open our gifts, the last place that I want to be is in the kitchen cooking. This is one of those recipes that will have you in and out of the kitchen in a second, and you could even prepare this possibly up to a few days before. This is my favorite recipe for homemade Christmas quiche. I have some pre-made pie crust. Now this couldn't be any easier. I mean, we've got pre-made pie crust. Half the work is done for us already. If you wanted to make your own pie crust, you certainly could do that as well. So I'm just gonna unroll this pie crust. Go ahead and just push it in and make sure that you have no air bubbles on the bottom and get it all the way up into the corners. I have over here one leek. I've already washed it. And after you cut a leek open, you also might want to wash it again because it is a vegetable that is in the ground and sand does tend to get trapped in there. I've washed mine already. I'm going to cut it down the middle. See what I got here? Nope, no sand inside of there. And I've just cut it straight down the middle, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start slicing it real thin. So now that I have my leek all cut up, I have a bowl over here that has some ricotta cheese in it. I'm going to take my leeks and I'm just going to add them to my bowl of ricotta cheese. So now I'm going to crack an egg in there. I'm also going to add about 3 tablespoons of heavy cream, and since I use part skim ricotta, this is where I'm kind of making the balance of my fat that I'm adding in there. And I also am going to add just a little bit of white pepper, because this is something lighter color, so I don't really want those black flecks of pepper in there, so I'm using white pepper, just a little bit of salt, and then we're just gonna give this a quick mix. I'm gonna rewind just a little bit. I cut that leek, and I realized I didn't explain something to you. When you cut a leek, you're only going to use the white portion of a leek. This portion, the green part that's up here, you don't use it. So just so you know, this is Leek 101 also. So that's a good tip for you to know. So now back to our quiche. So now that everything is well mixed and I have my pie fillet or my pie crust all over here, I now have some smoked mozzarella. So I'm going to take a little bit of this smoked mozzarella and just sprinkle just a tiny bit on the bottom. And then I'm going to take my mixture and I'm just going to pour it right over the top. So there we go. And I love quiches. You know, my friends, it's kind of silly, they all call me the queen of quiches because I love to make quiches. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I love to experiment with all different kinds of flavors. So for me, this is really fun, and I probably at all times have a couple frozen ones in my freezer. So now you're just going to take the mixture and just smooth it out over the top. So now I have just a tiny bit of that cheese remaining, and I'm just going to just put just a little bit more on top. And then we'll take this and we'll put it inside the oven on 350 degrees for, I want to say, about 35 to 45 minutes. Just make sure that you keep an eye on it. The top will get a little bit golden brown, and it'll be real tasty. So my quiche is out of the oven and it looks really, really good. It's earthy, it's rustic, it's wonderful, and it tastes really good. It's light, it's not heavy. And the best part about this is I'm going to be able to spend that much more time with my kids around the Christmas tree and not worry about being in the kitchen, cooking and baking and all of that. I'm Michelle Karam with Dishes by Michelle in Los Angeles, California. And this was my video for homemade Christmas quiche.